As an artist that likes to paint wildlife and nature things, I find that I don't actually do landscapes. And so what happens is I have a subject and I tend to focus mostly on the subject. And then suddenly it's, well, what do I do in the background? What's the background going to be like? So I've kind of put this bit of a challenge for myself, and I've put it together. And so I have two backgrounds here that I just wanted to play with. This one is very geometric and not something that I normally do. I'm not such a geometric kind of person, and also it's black and white. So what I wanted to do is try two different things. Here, this background is sort of suggestive. It's kind of suggesting the foliage colors of my plants that I have here. And so I just thought I would just see what backgrounds can really do for you. And really, maybe I'm obsessing about backgrounds, when in fact, they are just the background, and they are only adding minor detail to your work, not the major part of it. So I have here my flowers, and with the similar color scheme to them. And actually, I kind of thought it was kind of neat. I just played around. You can see, actually, this one can go in a variety of places. I feel like I want to put it here. And to me, that makes kind of an interesting thing. So the background can enhance or add contrast to the shape of your subject. And it can be not even real, nothing to do with nature. And yet it has a kind of a cool look for it. Once I started playing with it, I even made myself a little sign, which I thought would be kind of neat to put here. Explore. Because I think that's exactly what I'm doing on this page. Exploring the different effects of a natural background and something that's totally different from the subject. Both can look quite nice. I kind of like what's happening here with my flowers at the same time. Okay, with some glue sticks and a pen, I've put my pages together. And I find that these are two good examples of what you can do with your background. It can be a contrast. As you can see here, I have quite a contrast in terms of shape and design, and yet there's still some similarity in that they both have line, and the black, I guess, is the continuity as well. But that contrast of soft and fluffy and nature, as opposed to sterile and graphite, does make for an interesting design for a background. Now here, I've suggested my background as foliage and plants. And so now it's more a case of, I guess you could say, nature and more realistic. So these are two different kinds of backgrounds that you have. I have two others I want to show you. And this will give you lots of ideas. Maybe it'll rethink how you do things. Sure, you have your subject, but now there's 4 different ways you can make the background. Another way you can treat your background for your subject is to use an abstract or fantasy background. This is what I did with my robins. They are very, very realistic robins, but I put them in a very fantasy abstract type setting. Another type of background, which I like to use with my pencil work and my wildlife, is no background at all. Just a hint or suggestion of what the setting is, and then the subject. I wanted to briefly go back to the realistic backgrounds because here we can have realistic but also a suggestive background, as I've done here with cascading and with my picture Closed for the Season. So tell your story, choose your background, and maybe even try something different. Challenge yourself. Wendy teaches outdoor sketching classes in the summer, and she teaches in her studio and online throughout the year. Wendy produces original work in pencil and in watercolor. She completes commission work, particularly pet portraits, and produces cards and prints from some of her work.